GloRilla says, there isn't a faithful man walking on the face of this planet.
Ooh.
Every end cheats is not a faithful end walking this earth. Stamp that. So she said,
Like, quote me on that.
Quote me on it. When I first saw this, I was a little bit bothered by it because I've heard a lot of women say these things.
Yeah.
I've heard it, and you usually hear it from younger women. Usually hear it from women in their 20s, sometimes even in their 30s. And you definitely hear it a lot with women like in the industry, music industry, and entertainment and things like that.
For sure.
And it's just a sad, I think, message to send to like your followers. I think it's a bad way to view life. So when I saw this, I just was a little bit disappointed because, and here's where I'm coming from on this point. There are so many men and so many women just she said in this earth, but just like in the country, like I think there's, and don't quote me, I'm just going off of memory, but I want to say that there's 330 million people in this country.
Okay.
And so that means that there's at least, if you, let's just say it's 50-50 men and women, there's at least 150 million men in this entire country.
But not one.
But not one on this entire earth that's loyal, that doesn't cheat. To me, that's just not sending a good message. Because here's the truth. If that is true, I mean, it's self-defeating. That means that women should either A, never get into a relationship with a dude, or B, they have to put up with cheating. And I just think that that is toxic. Like, that's not the type of expectation any woman should have. But I do feel like a lot of women have this expectation. I want to get your thoughts on this, but like this expectation that, oh, well, guys are going to cheat. It's not going to be about whether or not they're constantly faithful to me from start to finish. It's going to be about other things like, oh, are they a good father? Oh, do they provide for the family and all these different things? And I know back in the day, so I would talk to my mom and people who were like in their, 40s, 50s and older, and they would talk about how a lot of the men would cheat and the women would just kind of like, not necessarily turn a blind eye to it, but they would just, go on about their life. And they would say phrases like this: as long as they don't come back to this household, as long as I don't know about it, what I don't know won't kill me. As long as
still paying those bills.
You paying the bills?
Yeah.
I never hear about it. Go on ahead. And as a result, you got, they call it dirty macking, where like you got dudes who got like 2 or 3 different families on the side in addition to their family, like 4 families and things like that. And so you had the whole idea of dirty macking. I thought we were past that point, and I'm just shocked that people still think this way. What do you think about this?
Well, definitely not past that point, right? The women then was just like, you know what? He's good for this, and the kids need their dad, whatever. A lot of women then weren't working as much as, women are today. So that, but yeah, people today, they're like, no, I'm sick and tired of it. I don't need you. I can find me another man who'll make money or whatever, or I'm making money myself, things like that. So a lot of people talk about how women today are not staying with them, even though they cheat. And so that's a whole nother conversation too, because, but here's the thing. It's a phrase that people say, and it's like, if you continue doing the same things or wanting the same things, then you're going to continue to get the same result. And so a lot of women I found who has that mentality of all men cheat, all men gonna play you, all men blah, blah, blah. They're talking about their experience, right? Why would they be talking about that? They're talking about they had some really bad experiences, right? So typically, if we be real about it and do some self-reflection, what were we looking for when we got those men, when we got with those men, right? And sometimes, we're looking for it. Does he have money, right? Does he have a car? Things like that. Does he look good, right? Top 3 maybe, whatever. And does any of those things include, is he a good person?
Yeah.
Does he have the same values as me? For us, is he a man of God? Things like that.
Oh, that's facts.
And I want to put this out there because people are like, you just saying that because you married and things like that, blah, blah, blah. Married men cheat too, right? That's what people say all the time. So here's the thing. When we say a man of God, what I'm saying is, day by day, is he working to perfect his walk? Is he trying to grow in God, trying to do better than he did the next day? Is it a walk that he's on right now? Or is he just saying, I'm a man of God, I'm a Christian, right? But not showing it in his actions and things, right?
Is he a practicing Christian?
Exactly. And something we talk about a lot is, for some people, they just say, but they're a really good person. They're a really nice person. And I'm like, nice gets old sometimes. Nice buttons get pushed, okay? And the thing is when you're tired of being nice, if you don't have that foundation in Christ, this is what I'm saying with the man of God, then, yeah, you may not be that person who they saw when they were thinking about getting with you, right?
Yeah.
And so then you may do some things out of character or whatever because you just want to, because you're choosing not to be nice today, right? But that's that. That's all I'm gonna say on that part.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there are faithful men.
Definitely.
There are men who don't cheat. You know, I would encourage women who have that mentality to try looking for something else. First of all, make sure you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're healed. You know, make sure you're in a place where you can receive love and not blame that person for what the person before them did. And then encourage you to try something different. If you typically just get with somebody, try being a friend first.
Right.
Watch them, observe them, see how they treat their parents. It's a real thing. Everybody say it, but not everybody do it. Watch how they talk to their parents if they're living, things like that. And that will help you and be like, okay, this feels different. Is it good different? You know, just because they different don't mean it's better.
Yeah.
A lot of times we compare it to the old person too. But yeah, ladies, there is hope. Don't lose it. Okay, there are good men. And that's what I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. There's good men out there.
Yeah.
And I'll also say, I mean, Bible says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. A lot of women, y'all out here trying to find husbands, but y'all need to be found by a good man, and you need to be the good thing to that person. Then I also think a lot of these people are talking in the context of dating. I'm not saying it's right to cheat if you're just dating, because obviously if you're trying to get married, you probably want to have to go through a process of getting to know a person and building a relationship. But most of y'all focus so much on dating and things like that, but dating is meaningless, if I'm honest. Like, it's meaningless in the grand scheme of things. It's no true commitment.
Yeah.
That person can leave. That person can step out and do all those different things.
Yeah.
So if your relationship is just, we're dating, we just want to look cute together and all that stuff, or you just want to have somebody that you can have sex with that people won't frown upon it because you're in a relationship. Like, if we keep it in real, there's a lot of people that get in relationships and, you know, to have sex and stuff like that, so people don't look at them as just like, you know, like for women, just look at them as like, oh, she's going, like she's just having sex with everybody. So they'll get into these relationships so they can be able to do those different things. And, you know, sometimes they're lonely and things like that. And men do that too, don't get me wrong. But I think if you're not focusing on marriage, if you're not focusing on commitment on your end, and if you're not showing the healthy qualities in your life that you're wifey material, just telling you the mentality of a lot of dudes, I mean, they're going to they're already looking on Tinder. They're already looking on IG for the next girl who's going to be the person that they get with. If you're not, I'm not saying that that's right, but if that's the type of thing, if you're putting out a certain type of mentality to that guy, or if you're not showing them that you're the type of person that they should be with, they shouldn't have to look around, then you're going to get those results. And that doesn't mean it's your fault, but it's something that you have to be aware of. Why do those type of guys always come to you? And why are you attracted by the type of guy that always seems to cheat? I see women get with guys that clearly are no good for them, and then they're shocked when they get cheated on, when they're verbally abused or emotionally abused, all these different things. But then I look at, and I'm like, how could you have not seen that this person wasn't a good person for you? Did you even look at their values? Do you even do they even believe in God? Or do they live as though God is real to them? Are they a Christian? All these different things. Let's say you're not religious. What are their values in life? I mean, if you're just going to ignore those things because someone looks good, or all the superficial things, hey, looks don't always pay the bills. I mean,
it doesn't pay the bills.
Sex don't pay the bills. Good sex don't pay the bills. There's a lot of things that won't take you anywhere in life. Good sex won't raise your children, won't provide for your household. So you gotta get past that at a certain point and say, like, yeah, I'm not saying that you should get with somebody that you're not attractive to. I'm not saying get you the ugliest thing walking around if you want a good husband. There's good looking men out here, but here's the truth. I mean, you gotta keep a high standard, don't settle. And then also you gotta be real with yourself. Like, what type of vibes are you putting out there? What are you putting out? I don't even like the word vibes, but just follow me. Like, what are you putting out there for people to receive? And so that's kind of my thought. Yeah.
And I think when you hear Brad say, like, don't be just dating to date. Somebody might say, well, if I don't date, how am I going to get to know them? That don't even make sense. This is what we're saying.
Date with purpose.
You go on your date, right? You agreed to go on a date because you saw those things that lined up with what you want and what you need. Okay? After that date, you realize, nope, they're not it. Then stop. Don't just continue, then stop. Don't just continue because you're having a good time. They're paying for your food. You like to get dressed up and go out. You want to do something, you're bored. That's what we're talking about, dating to date. Now, if you go on that date and then you're like, wow, they're checking off all my boxes, blah, blah, blah. I can see how they can line up with what my life should be, like what I'm trying to do, my goals and things like that, right? You were saying that I'm going to continue dating this person because I see a future with them in marriage. That's the difference, right? Old school, want to call it courting, all that stuff. Are you with them just to have a good time right now? Or are you with them to spend the rest of your life together? That's the difference.
And a lot of times, women are scared to ask a guy about his past. Like, have you cheated before? How many sexual partners have you had? Y'all don't ask enough questions because y'all don't want to know the answers. Don't gotta be on the first date, but I mean, you can ask it. Y'all ask every other thing, asking about favorite colors and stuff like that, and ask every other question. But you don't want to know about their past
online, like on an app or something.
Like, I want to know the amount of sexual partners the person I'm getting ready to commit to had. I want to know that, and if it's a lot, then you should be thinking like, okay, well. And then you should ask the question, even if you don't want to know the number, I mean, like, you should want to know that, like, have you cheated before? And get an honest answer from them. And if they tell you yes, I'm not saying that means don't give them a chance, but at the very least, you need to know if this person has cheated before so you can determine, okay, what you can get to the bottom of it at least with them. And if they close off and don't want to talk about these things, then they're not serious about you. That's my thought. If you're afraid you're going to scare a guy off, I'm gonna let y'all know guys are pretty easy going. If a guy gets scared off, that means he has something to hide.
Let me say, that's really big for women who get with men, or vice versa, that's been married before and divorced.
Yeah.
Because you need to ask those questions. And I know a lot of times, the man will be like, oh, she was crazy. She was crazy, and that's why it didn't work. I'm like, okay, hold up, bring it back.
There's two sides to every story.
She wasn't always crazy because y'all got married. So what happened? Why didn't it work to where you just had to get divorced? Ask those questions.
You gotta ask questions,
because
man. You can't be so scared. If you run somebody off, then oh well. I mean, that means they had something to hide, or like
that's true.
They just weren't for you. Like, people are so afraid of missing out on something.
They don't want to be transparent. Then you don't want to be.
Man, what's for you is for you. And, and I know it's cliche, but it's true, man. Like, if that person is meant to be in your life, then you're not gonna scare them away asking those different things. So those are our thoughts on this topic. We love to know what you all think. Make sure you leave a comment below. And before you head out, like this video, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.